Well, good morning again. This is Hero. We're getting into June now. It's starting to warm up, and well, what we're looking at is a pile of sand and gravel and rocks. Well, I think I've been telling you that every year I have to go install my irrigation pump down in the creek. The Auburn Ravine is exact name of the creek there. It's a natural stream, but the water is purchased. So I'm buying the water for irrigation purposes. And every year I have to kind of dig a pit off the stream and put my foot valve. And I have these gravel and rocks, so I brought some back. Okay, now we wash these, right? So we lay them out. Now what we do is, like these flat one, I try to put like rocks in one area. That's a flat one, this is a flat one. Here's another one that's flat. This is small flat. Okay, this grouping here, this one too, I look at potential to become the body of the lantern. It has relatively flat side, and then we could go like that and then build our lantern, right? So this has that potential, this one has that potential, these, and this one too. Okay, for lack of a better term, I'm going to call these the poetry stones. And what I'm looking for is a flat surface that we could do our writing. And I've seen Chinese and the Japanese versions of it, and quite often they'll put poetry on it. I'm not putting poetry on mine because I'm not a poet, but we could put little messages. Okay, and then we have these weird ones. See? And then, is it natural, half man-made, or whatever? But sometimes it comes out great, other times, don't know. And we have all the leftover. This one here, I like these because they look like the roof, right? It's flat on this side and then like a roof on. So it could become the top of the lantern. Okay, what I did was I selected these, and we're gonna try to make a simple lantern. This will be the base, okay? Remember all the flat rocks I was looking for? This will be the collar. Right, and then hopefully this will be the light area. Remember, our roof is going to go like that. Of course, if I let go, it'll fall, right? So next I'm gonna show you how we're gonna put these together using the thin set. Almost all this is review. I think I started this almost 2.5 years ago, and but most of you are just starting to follow me, so I figure I'll go ahead and do it again. So this is the thin set, which is like a motor except that it's finer, and it's used primarily to secure your tile. So from the dollar store, I get these little gizmo here. And then all this is the top of, well, I guess sometimes you could have coffee, although I think they're gotten into bags. I got these off of my can of nuts, and it works perfectly. And then you run down to your little art store and get one of these palette knife, and it works perfectly for what we want to do. Okay, so remember this thing was a little bit unstable. Well, make sure that you put a nice plastic down below, but what you do is you put and then you got a flat bottom. Okay, and then that part is fairly stable, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And you could be a little bit sloppy at this point, and I'll show you how we get to the next stage. If you rush too much, you'll collapse because of the weight. So I'm gonna wait till the next step. Yeah, I'm afraid to put this thing on because it might collapse. So let's get back to this in about 10 minutes. Now this thin set, when I do this in the middle of winter, it takes me about half a day before it sets up nicely. But now that it's hot, it sets up in 10 minutes, so we could get to the next step. It's not to say it cures that quickly, but it sets up enough that we could do that. Okay, I'm back about 10-15 minutes now, and then a little more thin set. Add a little water. You know, this basic Ishizukuri is very economical. It doesn't require a lot of investment in tools, but it does require you having to go look for these rocks. Well, if you're hunting in the stream, right, then you just bring back what you need, so you don't have to sort through. Okay, I'm gonna put this, and then okay, it looks a little sloppy, right? But what we do is we go ahead and let it set up, and then scrape it off. Let's see if this is going to work. Oh yeah. Was that the best way though? Oh, that's better. You see why I had to wait until everything's set in place? I'm also going to use this as a brace, because you know that it was kind of wiggling around, right? So we have all this extra rock. We use this as a brace for now. Okay, so you have to put enough. Well, when I first made my first 1,000, I didn't put enough. I was trying to make it so that you didn't see any of the motor, but it turned out to be too weak. So now I'm modifying my technique. How's that? Is it off center? It's not bad. So we'll get back to this in another 10-15 minutes, and then I'll show you how I'm gonna clean it up. And okay, I'm back. So what we do with these, see, it's better to let it go over and cut it off. Now the timing is critical. You can't do it by time, because it depends on the temperature, humidity, and a whole bunch of other stuff like that. And then down here, it's okay if it runs off. Just too early. Well, that was a good lesson, right? I told you timing was important. That was it. It was too early. So we go back and try it again. So doesn't matter if it goes over the edge because you're going to scrape it off. Use this as a brace. And all this is just stacked rocks, right? And everybody's been, all the ancient cultures were stacking rocks throughout the world. And I just do it a little bit more in the Japanese garden style. So this time we're gonna wait. Well, I guess it's okay to wrap this up as a chapter because you know what needs to get done, right? I just have to wait a little bit more and clean it up. Well, this one here, the one I just added, was from yesterday. Same process. I clean up a bunch of rocks and put it together. I'm kind of waiting to see, do I want something up on top? But I think it's okay. It would require something that is quite unique to make it work. So anyway, this has been the first part of the Ishizukuri series that I plan to do. How many, I'm not sure. But this is from the Auburn Ravine, where there was a lot of gold that found in that stream, and there was quite of Native Americans living all up and down this area. So it's gold country and Native American country, and I'm lucky enough to have all these rocks ready at hand. So anyway, I'll see you again in another chapter. In fact, I'm going to be shooting that as soon as I get this area cleaned up again. Okay? Okay, so the next one will be a little bit more complex, but still using the same rock source.